Hello, and welcome to our section about regulation. Regulation is the big monster in childcare for a lot of people because childcare is one of the most heavily regulated industries out there. And it's because we have young children, they can't speak out for themselves. So you're going to have regulation at the national level, at the regional level, and at the local level. And I can't cover everything that's going to be in any of those regulations, but I can tell you how to find that information and how to use it in your program. So at the federal level, I'm in the United States, so I'm going to talk about that one first. It is a lot about how you treat your employees. So there's a lot of employment law, there's OSHA, there's Fair Labor Standards Act, there's all kinds of stuff like that. And so you, as the boss, need to know about employment law in your country. You can probably get books that will explain all of that, websites, or maybe you just decide to hire an HR company or a payroll company, and they will help you be in compliance for the employment law issues. Okay? In addition to that, there are probably specific ones relating to taking care of young children. In the United States, those include mandatory reporting laws requiring that anyone who works professionally with children, which would include you and any of your staff, have to report any child mistreatment that they happen to see or suspect. You don't have to know, you just have to suspect. And if you suspect, you have to make the phone call. Most countries have a similar law for calling whatever their version of Child and Protective Services is if there is suspected child maltreatment. Additionally, in many countries, there is another law requiring that if you see something that indicates to you that the child is not developing in a normal fashion, that you make a referral to professionals who can assess that. Okay? So maybe you notice that a child doesn't seem to respond when they hear a loud noise. That would be something that you would call or email or whatever the program is at your country, your region, to say that this child needs an assessment and that you have noticed that they don't seem to respond to loud noises. And then they would do an assessment and find out that this child has a hearing loss of this range or whatever. Okay? So it's a way for us to help children get the services that they need in a timely fashion so that the rest of their development isn't hung up by, say, hearing loss or vision loss or mobility issues or whatever the issue is, right? So those are two big laws that almost every developed country has. In addition to that, there may be national laws relating to child care as an industry. So in the United States, that is the Child Care Block Grant Fund is the biggest one of those. There are some others, but that is the biggest one. And so that talks about what quality childcare looks like and what do we have to do to provide quality childcare. So it's kind of the baseline, right? Then you go to your state level or your provincial level, depending on, again, where you are. So your state or province will have specific rules for childcare in your area based on the needs of your community. And that is usually your child care licensing regulations. And again, in some countries, that is a national child care licensing regulation. But in most places, it is regional. It is by your state or your province. And when we're looking at that, if you don't know how to find it, Google your state or province and childcare licensing or group caregiving regulations, those kinds of things should turn it up. And those laws are based on how to ensure the health and safety of the children in your program. It's not a scary thing. It's really not. none of these are really scary. But because it's an outside person judging you, some people feel anxious. I want you to think of your licensor as a partner, not an antagonist. They're not trying to fight you. They're not trying to get you in trouble. They're trying to work with you to make a great place for kids. So, welcome them into your program. Offer them refreshments when they come. Give them a comfortable place to sit, a comfortable place to work. Give them the things that they ask for that are within their parameters, right? Anything that they are allowed to have according to the licensing rules, make sure they get it. In addition to that, some snacks and some water and a comfortable place to sit. It's your job to become very, very familiar with the minimum standards. You need to know what it is that they require. What are the ratios? How do toys need to be cleaned? What types of materials need to be in each classroom? That is your job. Their job is to check and make sure that you are supervising your staff appropriately and you have everything you need to have. That's their job. In addition to that, you've probably got health and fire codes that you need to be involved in, maybe some building codes. How much space do the children need to have inside each classroom? How much space outside? What kind of ventilation? What do the doors need to look like? How many doors or window exits do you need to have in each classroom? Hand washing sinks, food preparation, all of that would also sometimes be covered by licensing and sometimes be covered by a health or a fire agency. So the health or fire agency in your area will be probably in charge of making sure that you have appropriate fire and health precautions in place. Do you have the fire extinguishers? Are you doing fire drills, etc.? You may also have them for other types of natural disasters, earthquakes, mudslides, whatever are natural disasters in your area that you need to be prepared for. It depends on where you are as to whether this is something that you have to call and ask for the inspections or whether they just show up unannounced. That's going to depend area by area. So to find out, again, Google is your friend. Google where your local health department is and then call them. I know that's an antiquated thing to call people, but go ahead and give them a call and ask if I'm setting up a childcare center or if I'm new to running a childcare center, do I need to call you for an inspection or will you just come out? Is there a fee? You need to find that out from your fire department and from your health department. Or if you're in a place where all of that is handled by childcare licensing, you've got it handled, right? But we need to make sure the health, the fire, and licensing are taken care of at your program. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. There also may be city laws about zoning or about how high your grass can be or trash pickup. Those are also issues to be aware of. So good luck to you. I hope this helped.